Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's about 8:20 in the morning here. It's pretty early on this Friday. It's February 17th. Valentine's Day is behind us. The choppy week is behind us, and now we're ready to end the week. And before we get into all this, just as a reminder, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades and managing your own risk and doing your own research. And this is just my opinion on the market. I'm going to be taking a look at the S&P 500 today. I'm actually going to be taking a look at a pattern that I have, that I've seen. A pattern that I've seen on the S&P 500. And so let's just go ahead and take a look at it. So what I'm looking at here is commonly referred to as a bump and run reversal. And if you've been watching me on TradingView, you'll know that I've been watching. Actually, it's the tether dominance has also formed a very similar pattern here. And basically what this is we've got, a trend line that is, let me go to it daily. We've got a trend line that is moving at a particular rate. And then out of nowhere, we have an increase. And basically, once we have that increase, eventually it's going to break down. And that's what I saw here on Tether's dominance. And that's when I started getting really bullish on crypto. That's worked out really well. But now let's take a look at the S&P futures here. So the S&P futures, let's go to an hourly and take a look at this pattern that we've seen. So from here, looking at this, we have basically a very similar pattern where we had, very slow rise. And I can probably move this up just a little bit here. But we have a very slow rise. You can see we've got a higher low and a higher low and a higher low. But then we see that there is a trend line that has sort of taken over. And we found, great areas of support in a few different locations. So let's go ahead and get my little tool out here. And so basically we've got this pivot right here. We've got another pivot right there, another pivot right there. And then we've got another one that occurred right here. And then we actually had one that occurred there. This was yesterday before it eventually broke down at the end of the day. And, again, we had that breakdown at the end of the day and it caused, some acceleration, kind of moving into it. Now, looking at the horizontals, we can see that we are going to have a decent amount of support around right there. And that's going to be at about 4,050 on the S&P futures. And we're getting close to that. Our next important horizontal support is going to be all the way down here at about 3,900, almost 3,900 exactly. So, watching that zone as well for a potential breakdown. And I can zoom out here and I can find some other intermediate levels as well. There's going to be one right here at about 3,990. And that's kind of taken place by these pivots here. There's going to be a pivot there and a little bit of a gap there. But at any rate, and this gap was created by the ES futures roll, just in case you're curious on where that gap came from. But at any rate, we've got these important horizontals that are going to be coming up here pretty soon. So what's going to be, what's going to happen next? What are we kind of waiting for? Well, looking at this, we have this breakdown, and more often than not, when these break down, you're going to be watching for a move. Let me get my path here. You're going to be looking for a path that's going to go down here to the next trend line. So basically a reversion to the mean. Right, you hear that being discussed, quite often, a reversion to the mean, which basically just means that we're going back down to the norm. Now, is that going to happen very quickly? No, it's probably not. It's probably going to take some time for that to occur. And one of the reasons why I say that is because I also want to take a look at the Wave Master indicator. When on the 1 hour have buys been called and were correct? So let's just talk about that. Since the beginning of this trend line here, which again we're going to call the mean, we had a buy signal. It triggered right here. Okay, and that's in confluence with the Wave Master indicator and also the new momentum-based indicator, which isn't ready to be released yet, but I'm keeping an eye on that. So watching for confluence between the two. The next area of interest is going to be right here in this zone, and the real area is actually right here where the momentum indicator also indicated a buy. So that's going to be basically right down here. And that worked out really well. Now let's take a look again. The next area is going to be right here, which is in this zone right here. That worked out really well. Next area is right here. And this is all just using the WaveMaster indicator in combination with the momentum, but really the WaveMaster has been doing very, very well. So again, we had a buy area right here and it worked out. And then we had another buy area all the way down here. And again, it was all mixed with the momentum indicator as well. And that worked out. So now here we are. We have the WaveMaster indicator that's indicating a buy. We have the momentum indicator that is also indicating a buy. So what we've got right here is, a little bit of a contradiction to the bump and run reversal pattern, but what it just could simply indicate is that we've got another move up here to this trend line, and it could potentially fail. And then we see that move down to the mean over time. Give it time, right? The longer it takes, the higher this trend line gets. So we're just going to have to wait and see when that happens. But I do believe, just for the record, in case everybody out there believes that I am like the most bearish analyst on the planet, this is going to get a clean break. And it may just take a little bit of a reset to get down here. But then eventually I do believe we're going to break up and we're going to go up to 4,200 to 4,300 before we start, sort of a more interesting correction to the downside. Keeping in mind that the rollover date, right, so the ES futures roll, that's going to be on, March 10th. The actual expiration date is going to be on March 17th. So it expires on March 17th and the contract switch is going to be on March 10th. So you're going to see most traders are going to roll from ESH 2023 to ESM 2023. That's going to be the June expiration. Most people are going to roll on this day. So if that's the case, what very well could happen is that we just take some time, right? Just kind of see something like this happen. And then we see kind of a 5-wave pattern down here to finish a larger correction. It'd be really great to see the S&P futures go down here to this 3950, 3960 area, keeping in mind that the closer that we get to contract expiration, the closer that the futures mark price is going to be to the SPX underlying index. So down here at 3962 is likely where the S&P is going to be. Maybe a little bit lower than that, but it's going to be somewhere in that area because we're in contango with the SPX index, which means the futures are a little more bullish. We don't have backwardation right now, that would mean that futures are below where the index is. We're in contango. This is what we expect, which means that the underlying index is probably going to be a little bit lower than this. But at the end of the day, this would be the best case scenario for a move to continue to the upside. And if we get down here to this trend line, I'm going to be looking to get a little heavier into equities because this would indicate that we do have that reversion to the mean, that we have a little bit more of a reset. And again, it could take some time, but that would give a little more juice to to go down into the area of demand, a little more juice to make that move up to that 4,200, 4,300 area that everybody is really paying attention to. Now, if we take a look at SPX itself, let's go and scroll out a little bit here to a 4-hour time frame. Taking a look at this, let's go all the way out to the daily here for just a moment and just talk about where these coming from. So we've got this trend line all the way down here that's starting all the way down here from the COVID low. We have this up here, which is going to be all the way up here at the January 2022 high. And then we're finding the midline, which is the green line right here, has been providing a little bit of resistance. And if let's go ahead and try and find an area here. Let's not do the 618, we'll do the 382. We're going to get closer to that 50. So let's go up to like a 45. How close is that going to be? It's going to be pretty close. Let's do 46% roughly. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to go drill down to the 4-hour time frame and just watching to see where that 46% is actually providing some interest for the market. So again, we've got this area right here where we had some interest. we had this area right here, which was some interest, and also with this area right here and this area for resistance. But then most recently, we've had this area right here and this area right here. It tapped it pretty well. So what we're really watching for is this breakdown, potentially to retest this zone down here, which is taken off of our trend line, which we had been watching for quite some time. A nice retest of that to 3,900. And again, that would go into early March, right? We were talking about that expiration for the SPX futures and the roll, which would be on March 10th. And then potentially that containing the juice to get us up into a rally. And that again could take some time. It could take quite some time for this to play out, but watching for that move up here. And again, the longer it takes to get there, the higher this target gets. So if it goes all the way into May 19th, well, that gets us all the way up to 43.38. If this ends up taking longer, right, if we go all the way into August, for example, well, then we're looking at a move up to 44.60. What I am most interested in, and again, this is titled horizontals and diagonals for a reason, I'm most interested to see what happens at this horizontal resistance point, which is going to be at about 43.12. And what that would mean is that we would probably go down here, and again, that would be going into that roll date, and then a move up into the beginning of May, and then watch out for June and July, because we see what happens in June, right? We know what happened in June, so that would potentially take us all the way down here to 3,700. July and August last year, right? Everybody was denying that we were going to be seeing a good rally into July. All the way down here on June 17th, we had a good rally up here until August 18th, right? So if we follow a similar suit, well, here we go. Now we're starting to see a little bit more move to the upside. And again, this is going to be pretty choppy, but this area right here is also another area of interest. So it's going to be a zigzag all the way up. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it, it's going to be choppy waters, but there's going to be some great swings that can be had from these levels. We haven't gotten a sell signal on the S&P index, right? So this is the S&P index on the 4-hour time frame. Let me just go ahead and outline this for you. I'm going to remove these guys, and what we're going to pay attention to again is the WaveMaster. Let's look at the WaveMaster here. And when were the last times that we saw really good sell signals, right? The last one, of course, was all the way up here at the top. The next sell signal that we got, and we've got a lot of confluence with this as well, was right here. This is the first sell signal that we have gotten in over a year on the 4-hour time frame. What about the buy signals? How did the buy signals do on the 4-hour throughout the whole bear market? Well, let's just take a look. Right here, we had a buy signal on the 4-hour. Next one was going to be right here. Almost at the very bottom, I guess it would be fair to say that we had the buy signal right up here at about 3,700. Yeah, it did go down to 36, 37, but that's not, that's not huge in the scheme of things where we had a major rally, right? Next buy signal that we got was right here. Next buy signal that we got was right here. So far, all of the signals that we have seen on the S&P have given significant results. So we had a nice big move down here, 12% move down off of these lows. We had a 10% move up. We didn't get a sell signal here. Through our analysis, we were able to take good short swings throughout the year. But then we had this move right here. That provided another 16% move. Again, no sell signal, but the buy signal right here, that was another 10% move, followed by another 10% move. And now we're seeing that we've got this sell signal right here. So how low is this going to go? Are we going to get like a 6 to 10% move? We're just going to have to wait and see. But what I can say is, on the WaveMaster, since that last solid sell signal, every signal has been profitable. The buy signal, and we were in a bear market. We were in a bear market throughout the duration of 2022, but the buy signal had a significant rally. The buy signal had a significant rally. Buy signal, rally. Buy signal, rally. We are just now getting our first sell signal that's been, we haven't had one in over a year. The last sell signal that we got was in January of 2022, and now we're in February, almost March of 2023, and we're just getting our first sell. So let's wait and see how this plays out. Is it possible that this is like the biggest bull trap of the century and this guy is going to continue just dropping to new lows? That is certainly possible. I'm not going to be trading that way. I'll be waiting to see what happens here when we get closer to the SPX futures roll date, and then we'll make a determination from there on what's going to happen next. But the price action yesterday, if we take a look at the actual cash session, was not good. Take a look at this 15. We had a major gap down. We had a good rally, but it was completely given back. The entire day has been given back. Okay? And that's in contrast to, say, Tuesday, where we had a big move up, gave it all back, but then we recovered most of it, right? And then this would be Wednesday. We had a gap down, we did a gap fill, and then we had a major, gap down here, and we gave it all back. And now we're trading lower. We're probably going to open closer to 4,050 to 4,060, depending on how things go. Oh, let's see here. I think I'm done with the S&P 500. I do have a request to update the Bitcoin scenario, so I will go ahead and do that. So let's just take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so basically what we've got going on here with Bitcoin, and this is basically just going to look at the scenario, and I haven't opened up this chart in a while, right? It's been since last night that I opened up this chart. Okay, but what we can see here obviously is that something did complete up here, right? We do have the completion of a structure here. So what I'm prepared to do now is basically to put the 3, the 4, and the 5 here, which would put the 3 here, and then the 4 here, and then put the 5 up here. And now what we're doing is we're correcting something larger. Okay, we're correcting something larger. We're going to have to kind of watch and see the way that we dig ourselves out of here. But if we take this guy and move it down here to the low, we haven't quite gotten to the 50. But if we rise this guy up a little bit here, we almost got exactly to the 50. If you take this from a wave 2, the bottom of what I've got here is wave 2, to this significant top up here, we almost got to the 50. What I would expect to see, right? I would expect that this is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to come back down here. Likely we are going to come back down here to the 23,000 to 23,300 area. But I actually do believe that there is decent probability that we're going to see, based on the structure, right? Again, based on the structure, decent probability we are going to see a move that's going to continue higher. Let me move my little Bitcoin wizard out of the way and just see where we landed. So if we take a look at this, we can move this down here to that trend line, and we start to see a little more confluence with this trend line and how important it is. And even this median that we had been talking about and discussing for quite some time is also providing a little bit of resistance. So now naturally we're going to move this guy out a little bit and watch for demand as we move into this zone down here. So again, what is potentially going to be happening is we're going to see a move down back to the 50, probably a move back up here to this area before we see a move back down into 23,000. And if we do get that move to 23,000, that 618 is going to be sitting right there at about 22,900. So do we go down just a little bit before we rebound and make that move up? I mean, probably. Is it going to happen quicker than the S&P 500? Yeah, I do think so, because Bitcoin does do some trading on the weekend, whereas the S&P does not. So if we discuss the Bitcoin Friday anomaly, today is Friday. So where are things going to fall in place at about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern time? Here on Friday, we're just going to have to wait and see. But here on Friday, if we do get that move down today, it wouldn't surprise me one bit for us to get this move up here over the weekend going into Saturday and Sunday. And then you start the cash session for the S&P 500 on Monday, and we potentially get a move back down here to the golden zone, and then we can start to see a little bit of a rebound And again, I've been saying this for quite some time, that I'm more bullish on crypto than I am on the S&P 500, than I am on NASDAQ. So I am not net short on Bitcoin or on crypto in general anymore. I still am a little short on the S&P 500. Most importantly, I'm a little short on Apple, just kind of waiting for that to play out in a more conservative fashion. Not using options for that, just in case you're curious. So this is where I think that crypto is more likely to go, which is basically this is probably going to be the completion of a wave A. We go up for wave B, and then if you'd like to, you could probably take a short right here at about 24,350 to go down here to about 22,900, probably close it out at 23,000 just to be on the safe side, because I do believe that we're going to hit this demand zone, because I actually think that what we have seen right here is more than likely a major bear trap, because again, you can see the trajectory. We went down very quickly, we consolidated here, and then we went up even faster, right? So this tells me that we do have a little bit of a bear trap, and we do have some demand in this zone, which I have had outlined for weeks. I've been talking about this for weeks, which is one of the reasons why we were buying down here. And so now, yeah, we've seen a little bit of a pullback. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I'm just waiting, because I'm not doing anything reckless, right? I'm taking conservative trades, waiting for, the target, which is going to be right up here at about 26,275 to 26,900. It's really kind of where I think that things are going to land. Very possible that we do actually go up here to about 27.3 to set 27.4. But at the end of the day, that's going to be the completion of a larger cycle, which goes all the way back to January of 2023. All right. I think that's all I've got for you right now. I've been going for about 20 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share. If you need access to our Discord, you can find all of that information on BitDoctor.org, including access to our indicators, to our education, to our trades, and all of that. We've had a really fantastic year this year. We've had several trades that have just been phenomenal, even with zero leverage. So if you want access to all of that, you know where to find me. BitDoctor.org. And last but not least, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good evening. Take care, everybody.